Well, we'll get into the slides just because I want to make sure we get through as much as we can. Now, see if this works. Who has ever been paid in this class, like to attend this class? Okay, so listen up, because I've got some opportunities for $10 gift cards, okay? 4 of them, and then another opportunity at the end of the class for anyone that wants to take me up on it. So it means you have to pay attention. Got it? So first thing I wanted to talk about is just presentations in general. Who's here comfortable giving a presentation? Like, doesn't mind, get up, because everyone gets a little bit nervous. These are some of the pointers from the Buckley School, and I don't know if anyone knows who that is. I would recommend go looking up Reed Buckley and some of his presentation stuff. People that go to his school have been presidents of the United States, senators, CEOs, huge companies. People go there to learn how to speak in public, okay? These are some little pointers that I think are real important in presentations. And usually this gets bigger, but I can't see it here. But one thing to think about when you're doing a presentation is it's really not about you, it's about the message, right? So that sort of distances yourself from the presentation. Like, I don't really care what I'm saying, I hope you care what I'm saying. I hope it makes a difference. And that just helps during the presentation. Be yourself and actually be a little more animated. You know, make sure your hands you don't have to go crazy, but move around. Sometimes it's good to even move to the opposite side of the room. You know, not be by your computer where it's comfortable or behind like a podium where it's real comfortable. I know this isn't the presentation class, that's not what I'm doing, but the reason I'm telling you this is because when you get into business and you're doing things, if you want to start your own business, if you want to get in front of people, they're going to look at how your presentation style is. And it's going to make a big difference. It's going to make a big difference if I look you in the eye when I'm talking to you, right? Right? If I'm paying attention. If you don't want to look someone in the eye, just look at their nose. I'm not looking at your eyes, I'm looking at your nose. So just take those little things as far as a presentation, and I think it's important as you move throughout your career to learn how to present. And I'm not the best. I still get a little bit nervous, you know. I thought, oh, I'm just going to go to, you know, some college kids. I'm like, oh, but now am I shaky? Not really, but it's still nerve-wracking to get up and talk in front of people, okay? So here's the first $10 offer. Whoever comes down and says this in front of the whole crowd and presents gets the first $10 gift card. I saw him first. Come on up.
All right, thank you everybody for coming today. Introduce myself. So my name is Parker. I am living here in Utah, obviously, but in Bluffdale to be specifically, and I'm an insurance agent. What year will I graduate? You know, that depends. I mean, I have 2 more years of school at the U coming this fall, and then whether I decide to go do my master's in business, I'm not sure. But for right now, my major is business management or marketing, trying to decide which one. So I'm just excited to find out. And my business dream is to, I'm sure everybody has the same, you know, they want to run their own business. I want to do that and be a millionaire in at least 5 years. And that's kind of a crazy goal or dream, but I believe I can do it if I commit to it. If not 5, then 10. What is one thing you believe? So, the number one thing I believe maybe is self-control and diligence. Being able to stay diligent all the time and be committed.
Cool, here you go. Thanks, man. I know it's $10, but I didn't really want to blow, you know, $300 on the whole class today, so. But again, it's a little nerve-wracking, and it was cool that he got right up and said that. Right? Well, good job. Good job of that. And insurance stuff is good. The owner of the Salt Lake Tri Club is a farmer's insurance agent. gives them a lot of extra time. Okay, so I'm not going to go over each one of these, and I don't know what the reason is, but just that everyone in this room, everyone being here, I think is important. It shows that each one of you care. I mean, not only is it lunchtime, but I've heard it's what, 1 credit? I didn't know they give like 1 credit classes. I don't even know what you get out of that, but I think it's cool that you come and listen to people that are out in the industry. So this is more to ask yourself, why you're here, and whatever's not up here, just someone go ahead and tell me a reason why you're here. You. Yeah. With the cool mug with all the stickers.
I'm kind of here for the credit, the 1 credit. I need a 1 credit.
Have you learned anything from the other people that have been here?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So that's probably worth more than 1 credit, I would think.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to say why you're here? I don't have $10 for this. These are softballs. So go ahead.
I'm here to influence my path and meet people.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome. Okay. So again, like I said, I commend you just for being here. So I just wanted to point that out. So a little bit about me. Because of time, I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I ended up being like the man of the house at 9 years old. Dad left, single mom, 5 kids. I'm not sobbing about it. I'm just telling you that's just what happened. Started working young. The reason I put the food stamps here is one of my work ethic I learned a long time ago was, I remember we had to get food stamps at one point, right? We went to the shop or went to the place and my mom got them and I said, what are we doing? She's like, oh, we're getting food stamps, right? Because we couldn't afford stuff. I mean, I remember we had to go get firewood to really heat the house because we couldn't pay the fuel bill. So it was bad for a little bit. No big deal. We survived, we ate. But I remember when she got enough money, she went back to pay those food stamps back, like with cash. She had some money. And I remember they said, oh, we don't take that. And she left it on the counter. And she left. So for me, that was important to see that, you let people help you out just to get back on your feet, then you go back and you work. So that's where I sort of learned that work ethic was doing that. School was always real easy. I never really opened my books up. Tests came real easy, and then I found out when I went to the U, it wasn't that way. Found out, wow, you might have to actually study. And I bombed out. I did. It was horrible. I don't know if there were incompletes. I don't even remember, but it was bad. So I'll just say, just keep going to school, because I had to go back and do a lot of catch up. Okay, so just take the time and do it now. You don't want to get older and have kids and have to go back to school. So I wanted to put that. The dot-com boom, like I said, I opened my own business, wanted to make a lot of money, and I did. I had about 17,000 websites paying me $100 a month. If you do the math, that's a lot of money, okay? But what I learned, and that was in the biographical sketch, is I didn't know a lot about finances. I knew a lot about computers and like building computers and building websites and servers and all that kind of stuff. And so the partner I brought in, the finance guy, well, he was real good at like stealing money, okay? So, and knew stuff that I didn't, okay? So it was a lot of fun for a while, but I also lost about 800 grand back then. So that was a little rough, right? But from that, still I learned. I mean, you get over it. It's not the biggest deal. But it was so bad that I didn't want to touch a computer, so I went and applied for a bag boy, like at Smith's. And I put that, and the reason I put that, and I think it's important, again, because I had money and that kind of thing, but I always think it's important to stay working, okay? And of course, they didn't give me the job, right? I showed them the resume, and I said, hey, you know what, I just want to do something that doesn't take, a lot of effort. Like, I don't have to worry, like, I don't have to take the job home. I didn't want to take a job home, and I figured, there's no way, only groceries, and I'm going to eat those, right? So the point there is that you need to stay working, right? It's like that line from, Vacation, if anyone's seen it, how Eddie is holding out for a management position. Just stay working, right? If you want something better, again, don't hop around 100 places. I don't like seeing that on resumes either, but don't just wait around for the best thing in the world. try to be active. Okay, so that's why I put that. Then of course I got recruited to Overstock.com because they knew about my computer stuff, and that was awesome. That was cool. I mean, you could wear flip-flops and shorts and all that kind of stuff, and it was cool. But because of this, at here, I hit the ceiling. All right, I realized, you know what, that education stuff, oh, that sort of is important. I got maxed out at where I could get paid, and so I thought I better have a family now. You know, I've got a cute wife. You know, I was a single dad too for a while, but got a cute wife. Had some kids, and like, hey, we need to start making some more money, right? So I was in a classroom just like this. I actually went back, started at Slick to get some generals, so I didn't have to spend a lot of money at the U. But I went back, and I was in a classroom just like this, and someone was talking about L3. The teacher was talking about L3 communications. I sat there on a computer, looked it up. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Oh, tuition reimbursement. Okay, and that's all I really wanted. I wanted somewhere that paid tuition. So I went and talked to the teacher that was the class. I said, hey, you know, could I go there and apply? He goes, oh yeah, you'd be great. You know, it was awesome, and got hired on and got my bachelor's and my master's and with zero debt. So to me, that's always something to look for, is look for a place that pays your tuition. You know, and then you have to work there for a certain time and pay back, and you know, which I did a long time ago, but pay back in time, not money. But to me, having no debt out of school was a pretty big deal. Okay, so education is important. Again, I'm glad everyone's here. Oh, there's another $10 deal here. So I believe I put a quote at the end of my little sketch thing. If anyone can tell me that quote. Oh, nice. What's your name? Felicia. Felicia? Cool. There you go. This was in case someone didn't read it. I had more on there. So there's not 2 cards for this. Now, I asked that for a reason, and this is more in the interviewing process. I've interviewed hundreds of people. Okay, I've hired tons of folks. And when you go for an interview, how much do you know about that company? Right? You just like, oh, that was cool. I saw a neat commercial, or I know so-and-so that works here, right? It's not good enough. What's great to me is when someone comes in and says, you know what, I've seen, you know, our stuff's different, but hey, I've seen the Predators, I've seen the Rovers, I've seen all the cool UAVs that, you know, you guys do. My dad's in the military, something I've read about your company. That resonates with the hiring manager, okay? You know, if you just go in and say, hey, tell me about your company, I'd like to work here. It's like, okay, right? Ask a couple, you know, questions, and then, you know, they just go to the bottom of the pile. So the fact that maybe you looked it up, I don't care, she knew the answer, right? So it's just important to go and do research on places where you want to work, all right? Who's keeping track of the time for me? 12:21, what? So these are the companies. That was my first startup, right? This is the one that I enjoy, really have a passion for this. This is my current company right here. We won't talk too much about that. And then USA Triathlon, and then slow twitch stuff. And I'll go over more what that means. Now I'm going to show the video. This is just to show where I work and what we do. Because I was told by Whitney I've got to show, you know, something about where I work.
Satellites and airborne systems, manned or unmanned, passing high above the Earth, collect high-resolution imagery and video information about movement of enemy personnel in any conflict area in the world. They beam these images and signals to military strategists who receive, analyze, and relay exact coordinates and response strategies to the warfighter. This intelligence information is critical to our national defense. On the Senate floor, Senator Orrin Hatch said it is not an exaggeration to say that the technologies created and built by Communications Systems West have won battles for the United States and, equally as important, saved countless American lives. CS West continues to create unparalleled secure communication systems, including unmanned aerial vehicles such as the Global Hawk and Predator. Rover technology saves the lives of our warfighters by giving them greater situational awareness. Rover 6 and Vortex took L3's technology one step further by giving the warfighter at the tactical edge transmit capability. This created a two-way network which facilitated better communications between air and the ground users. The tactical rover miniaturized the rover, making it ultralight and small enough to support a wider variety of military missions. CS West's innovative protected tactical waveform is important to our nation's security and its allies by allowing secure communications even when there is interference. This Salt Lake City location began as a missile factory and is now recognized as a world-class provider of high-tech solutions for our nation and international allies. L3 Communication Systems West looks forward to a bright future and anticipates many more years of contribution to our community, nation, and the world.
Okay, so that was pretty cool. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of really the bandwidth that's in those, the data rates that are in those little pipes that you see. I can't talk about how fast that is, but it doesn't even come close to the fastest things that you've heard. That rover deal that we have, that when we say we save lives, that's right when the soldiers were able to look on the computer screen, and let's just say there were enemies at that building, shooting at us. Well, there'd be a UAV up in the air, and they would be looking down, in this whole area, and they would see the bad guys over on that side. The soldiers able to look on the computer at the bad guys, basically circle it, hit a dot, and the next thing you know, you see a missile go and just hit those people over there, and sort of they're not there anymore. So we've had many folks, and again, we're not promoting the war type of stuff, but it does happen, and again, we want to keep our people safe, and that's what one of the main things we do. Now, industry trends that was on the list that I needed to talk about. So some of the stuff that drives our business, of course, international attacks, right? The Civil War in other places, and then just national defense spending policies, which have risen lately. So that helps our business. These folks are starting to want all the technology that we've had over the last several years. So we're getting a lot more international clients that want the stuff that we do, and that's helping our business. And it, like I said, as they become more developed. What we have as challenges are not a lot of people want to be engineers, electrical engineers, RF engineers, mechanical engineers. Those are a lot of international based, people that aren't in the US. So that's hurting, our businesses here. The other thing is the emerging nations are now just starting their own stuff, where we could normally sell our technology to them. They're starting to get to where they can build their own. So as far as defense and industry, those are some of the trends that are happening right now. Is that helpful? Okay, that checks the box of one of my assignments.
Any questions about that?
Yeah.
So are you providing that technology for countries that perhaps would want to fight the U.S.
Nope.
or North Korea?
No. Yeah, that list was just people that were right. See, we have a rise in defense spending because of these companies. Yeah. Yeah.
So you work at Salt Lake, right?
Yeah.
Is L3 based out of Salt Lake?
No, they're based out of New York. Yeah, and we're all over the world.
So why do we have a hub here? Just because it's a trade?
Well, the niche that we have here, that building or that location has been here for 60 years. Okay, and they've morphed and changed, like I said, to missiles, to where we now do common data links, and basically the engineers over there are the best at what they do in the world.
Is there a more secular field? Like, this isn't all necessarily like defense industry. Do you guys do this sort of technology for, other fields?
No.
Okay, it's purely.
Yeah, a lot of this is, ComSec, which is secure data links, but nobody can touch. Those kind of things. I think we tried cellular, phones for a little bit because we could do it, but that's not really big money. It's you know, and it's a lot of customer service, and we don't do that. So, but I mean, there are about 3,800 employees over at CS West, and usually somebody knows somebody that works there. I mean, I didn't know how big of a company it was, but it's one of the largest in Utah. So, and of course, it has a bunch of stuff. It has warehouse things. It has all your administration and your finance, you know, accounting stuff. It has HR. You know, it's a city. We've got, you know, umpteen buildings over there. So it's a big place. We have shuttles that you have to get on to go to building. So it's an interesting place. Now, again, I told you this is sort of where I started, and it was in a classroom like this. But when I got there, you know, I just got in the cube, and it was funny when I got to L3 that we actually shared cubes. Oddest thing in the world, you know, coming from Overstock where it was real cool building and you could see the mountains to where I'm sharing a cube with someone. But the reason that I started moving up real quick, and each job I tend to do fairly well moving up, is I provided exceptional customer service to one of our customers. It was simple. You know, I just signed requisitions to buy stuff. You know, hey, sign this, and my boss, he was really rigid with people and didn't really care. So they started coming to me, and eventually they asked me to come be the finance manager for the entire engineering department. And that was just for me being nice, right? But it was uncomfortable because I had to leave the finance department, and no one did that at that time. But I did it anyway, and that sort of catapulted everything that I'm doing now at L3. So again, I challenged myself. It wasn't comfortable at all, but I do want everyone to know, go ahead and do that. It's never going to be comfortable, but I guess sometimes if you want to just sit, you know, in a spot and just have people tell you what to do all day, that's cool. I mean, some people, you need people like that just don't want to do anything else except for come and then clock out and go. But then there's probably a lot in this room that really want more, right? You want to be involved and you want to do stuff. So recommend doing that. Now, let's see, time. Ooh, geez. So when people come in for an interview, we'll start like this. How many in here know how to operate Excel at a basic level? Excel? No? How many know how to do Microsoft Word? Okay. What about PowerPoint? Okay, so I don't even look at that on a resume. I don't care. Not care is probably a harsh term, but I usually assume that most people that are going to come and apply for the job that I have listed, they can do the job. Okay, I think most people can do about any job except for like your crazy rocket science and all those, you know, chemistry stuff. What I'm looking for are these things. This is what I look for, okay? Because this is, when I say talent, I do think it's a talent, but it's not something that you go out and you learn, okay? So when someone comes to me, you don't have to be taught to be on time. You're either on time or you're not, okay? I was told to be here at 12:30. I was here at 12:50, or what? I was here 15 minutes early just so I could get set up. We were almost ready. Work ethic. Everyone has a different opinion what that means, but still, it doesn't require any talent, right? And I'm not going to go over each one of these just because of time, but you get the point. Body language. I'm excited to be here, right? I'm not sitting in my chair and just sort of clicking through with my head in the screen. You know, I'm glad that, you know, I got asked to be here. You know, Whitney's awesome and she's been great through all this. Again, attitude. I've got a thing in my office. I think I have a couple pictures, the Tetons, right, and then some Ironman stuff, and then I've got one thing on my desk that, you know, says attitude matters, and it really does. I mean, who's seen that attitude thing where, like, you know, 90%, 10% what happens to you, all that kind of stuff? It really is important, right? I would rather have someone that will just say like a level 2 Excel analyst person that's just, that has all these characteristics, and sort of, we'll say a level 4 analyst, right, that just doesn't get along with anyone, has a bad attitude, all that kind of stuff. I don't even want you in my department, right? I just don't. it's not worth it. I would rather work with this person because they can get up to that level as far as knowledge. Okay? So I want someone that works with the team. I want someone that's happy. I want someone happy. I know everyone has their rough days, but does everyone get what I'm trying to say here? This is important, right? This is how I think you succeed. Okay. So I have a reason to put this in here. It's not just because I'm not trying to promote triathlon, even though I always do. Is an Ironman distance is a 2.4 mile swim, which equates to about 4,200 yards. Okay. Then you bike 112 miles. Then once you get warmed up, then you go run a marathon. Okay. And it's cool stuff. I mean, believe it or not, I've done it, even with this thing right here. Okay. We'll figure out something for the card. Now, the reason I say that is when you're at work, it's okay to be unique. And I think, I think everybody's unique in a way. Okay. But I also think it's okay to share that with everyone that you work with. And the reason I tell you that is because you get noticed. And you don't get noticed in a bad way. You don't want to tell everyone, you know, hey, I go out at 1 p.m. and like toilet paper in my neighbor's house. I mean, I'm thinking about, you know, just some things you do as a hobby. It's okay to let people know. And I put this hole-in-one story on here. So I had just started at L3, okay, and you know, I talked to the people and I said, hey, I'd really like to golf. That's back when I golfed. You know, I still like to golf, but I don't have time for it anymore. And everybody knew that I golfed, and I was, you know, I've had people go with me at lunch and that kind of thing. Well, I'm sitting at home and I get a call from the director. That's like my boss's boss. And I said, hello, and he's like, Adam? I'm like, yeah, and I thought I was in trouble. And he's like, hey, so I remember you said you like to golf, right? I said, yeah. He goes, well, tomorrow there's a PricewaterhouseCoopers golf tournament, you know, with our company, and I knew you like to golf. I can't make it. Would you like to go? And I said, of course I want to go, right? And so I said, he goes, okay, just bring your clubs. I'll tell you what to do. I'll give you all the information. And I said, okay, great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. You know, click. Then I went to my wife and I said, hey, dear, I know tomorrow's your birthday. True story, true story. It's even in the paper, the date. So anyways, I went to the tournament. I said, we'll make it up another time. It was my director. I couldn't say no. Okay. Next day, we go to the golf tournament. I get put with the senior Pricewaterhouse auditor, and then a partner of mine, and then another auditor. And I think it was hole 7 up in I can't remember the course name, just up by the U, real course. And boom, I hit a nice shot, 7 iron, 146 yards, just hit the green perfect and rolled right in the hole. It was a hole-in-one.
The most important hole-in-one ever.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. And we didn't know. We're like, we think that went in the hole because the sun was sort of coming in our eyes at it was a little near sunset. But anyways, everyone just went nuts, right? The senior auditor go grab the ball and said, it's really in here. I'm like, it was a great day. And like the guys called one of the directors in finance. He called the CFO of finance. I mean, it just blew up all over the place. Now, so this isn't about me getting a hole-in-one. What it's about is, if I would have never shared a story of just a hobby or something I did, I would have never got the call. And that call that experience basically got me where now the CFO stopped by my desk like every other day just to chat. And that was a big deal, but again, not all those kind of things are going to happen and fall into place. But I just say that because it's good just to have people know what you do and just know who you are. Okay. And I still have that ball too. That ball's like in my safe. It's in my safe. The cards all Ziploc bagged, all signed up. It was a cool thing. Here's me crossing the finish line at my Ironman. Had a little issue at mile 13 on the marathon, but it was okay. I made it, finished it. But I also want to point out that you need to find something aside from work. Okay, it took me a while to figure that out. And I was just so into work, and I was there I thought, it does matter. You need to pay the bills, and it pays the bills very well. But you need to find something, and I'm just going to assume everyone might have a family at some point, or you have brothers or sisters or parents. Never ignore them, but find something for yourself. Okay, find something that you want to do. And I did I started to do triathlon just so I could, because I'm more healthy, I'm more alert. I mean, I was up at 5 a.m., I've already ridden 26 miles on my bike. This week I've already swam several thousand miles. No, yards, yeah.
All the way around the world.
Yeah, no. Like I said, right, yeah, that would be awesome. No, so 1,000 yards, easily. I mean, yesterday, I swam easily over a mile just in the morning. I do this all before I go to work. So every single morning I wake up 4 something, get to the club by 5 and I'm doing my workout. Yeah.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Right after I work out, I have a protein shake.
Oh, so you work out on an empty stomach?
Yeah, it's too early. If I'm hopping in the pool, I might throw up, right? So I just wake up, 4 o'clock, I do my workout, and it's gonna last an hour and a half, right? And then my wife, bless her heart, every morning she makes me, I have, whole wheat bread with some egg whites, chopped up avocado, and like 3 strawberries. That's every morning. Yeah.
Are you one of those people that only sleeps like 4 hours a night?
I don't sleep a lot. And it's amazing, again, because I'm training so much a week. I probably go to bed 11:30, and I'm up at 4:30 or 5. I just, and it's not because I want to. I like to sleep in every now and then. It just doesn't happen. But whatever it is, just find something that's different. And again, I put this here because I found I was just going to work and going home, and just sitting home, right? And then I'd wake up and then go to work and then go home. And I just want to make sure everyone finds that something that you do, so your life's not work. It's okay while you're there to put in 100%. I never liked the 110% thing, but just put in all you've got while you're there, and then shut it down and forget about it. Okay, and I think that's important. 5 minutes. Let's see what's important. Okay, you guys, everyone will get the slides, right? I think.
It'll be online.
They'll be on. Oh, great. Didn't know that. Check the ITAR. So I'm going to just pound through this real fast. Some of my points. No one's going to drive your career except for you. Okay. You might have a couple. I've had a couple real cool bosses, just awesome, that supported me, that knew that I had drive, and they helped out. But sometimes, if they don't even know that, they're not going to help you. So just key points to take away from this. I always ask for feedback from people. I don't ask from the people that I get along with. I ask from the people that are my harshest critics, okay? And they actually end up liking me a lot more because I go to the hard people and say, hey, what did I do good? What did I do bad? How can I make it better? That's a big deal to them. Volunteer for stuff. That's why I'm here, right? They asked a few people, I was one. I said, well, sure, I love doing it. Always ask your boss, ask someone, ask what you need to do, but then follow up, right? Do it and then follow up, I would say. Don't just ask. But, and then manage up across and down. I treat the CEO of our business the same way I treat the person that does the garbage. I act the same way. Okay, we have a new president of the company. He asked why his signature was at the bottom of the form. I said, well, it's based off tenure. Probably wasn't the best joke to tell the new president of the company, but he liked it. But the point is, just be yourself, right? Because eventually the person will know you, and it's hard to put on a fake face all the time. Just be yourself. If people like you, cool. If they don't, nothing you can do about it. And then again, seek additional opportunities all the time. Like this was probably my best, most valued school experience I ever had. I was so nervous. So stressed out. That thing was just nuts. I had like a panic attack. Spiders were on my back. Just anxiety. It was horrible. It was horrible. But when I was done, it was the best experience I ever had. And they still do the courses there. Who here has heard of Wharton Business School? I would think. Oh, see, need to get the shoes now. Okay.
I want to go to Wharton for my MBA.
Okay, so if you go to Wharton for the MBA, you'll get a job wherever you want.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, who's heard of Harvard? Okay, short arms. So Wharton is the business version of Harvard. Okay, yeah, it's better. So I had a choice to go to Stanford, Harvard, or Wharton, and after I looked at Wharton a little bit, I'm like, you know what, that's where I want to go. So you had to be, you had to get accepted, all that kind of stuff. But I was featured in one of their articles. I did the whole program, and it was a pretty cool thing. But the point is that seek additional, education after. Those kind of things are important, and those help. They get you involved with other people, networking, those kind of things. This part, I've got a couple minutes, right? Oh, geez. These are my tips and tricks when you get out in the business field. These are sort of my, things when you do a report, just make sure you set it to print right. These are like the little things, okay? I've had people send me reports and I'm running to a meeting and I hit print and I get there and like one spreadsheet's on 6 pages. I'm like, oh my gosh. So these are just little things. Just make sure that report might go all the way to the CEO. So when you do something, pretend that the CEO is going to see it. Okay, I just think that's important. Again, presentations, you see this one, same font, same setup. Make everyone think that one person built it, instead of like different stuff. And like I said, I didn't want to do just black and white because it's sort of boring, but don't make them too colorful depending on who you're presenting to. I don't like being told what to do. I just don't. So I always try to stay a step ahead of my boss and volunteer for as much as I can and say, I'm going to do this, 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 this. He never has time to tell me to do anything because I'm always making up my own stuff, which is valuable. So just do that. And never say I'm not busy. Oh, right? Instead, go to your boss and say, you know what, I've done everything you've asked, here. I want to do this, or I want to do something more. But just don't say, hey, I'm not busy. It's just not, for me, that's just like the worst thing to say. And then people say, make it right, don't make it fast. Right? I'm okay if someone comes to me and says, I'm not going to meet your deadline. I can give it to you now, but it's not going to be right. Like, hold off, just wait. Just go do it right and I'm fine. I'd rather hear that than just give me something bad. Okay, so these are some other things here because of time. Look in the eye. I've made sure I've talked to people. Make sure you look them in the eye when you shake hands. You look them in the eye, right? This guy right here. Anyone, just make sure. Well, just when I shook his hand, it's just confidence, right? When you go to say hi to someone, you're like, oh hey, your arm's down. It's going to make a difference. Okay, it's going to make a big difference. That that person's going to notice you. Okay. Favorite quotes. You can read this later, but this is just the thing about, at the worst, when you fail, it doesn't matter. Just keep trying. Has anyone heard this? It's called the man in the arena, but I say modified because I think it should be more the person in the arena, because women and men. But go look that one up. It's a good quote to have. And look this one up. It's called If. Okay, just go ahead and read that. That's a cool quote. And then if you want to be a leader, you want to be a manager, that's one of the books I recommend. There's a lot of books out there, and you take it little bits and pieces from each book, but that's a good one for leadership. Okay, it talks about different levels of where you want to be. Then of course this is the one I've got up in my workout, my pain cave. Is that really? I mean that's huge. Okay, I don't deserve Jack, I earn it. And Jack's probably now I'm recorded saying Jack, but anyways, just don't think you deserve anything. Really just work for it and earn it. Okay, I mean you're gonna feel better about yourself anyway. So I'd rather earn it. And then the reason I take advantage of today, and I say it doesn't happen often, it really doesn't, right? How many times does today happen? Once, right? So when you find yourself just sitting on the couch doing nothing, or it's the end of the day, and you're like, oh, what'd I do today? Just know that day's gone. Okay, so that's why I tell my triathletes, just make sure you take advantage of that today. Fire away with questions, even though we're out of time. Yeah.
Where is the Wharton Business School?
Pennsylvania.
How did you make the jump from Phoenix to there? Like, did you actually excel grade-wise, or like were you just kind of?
Well, they take experience. They take your work experience, total education, your position that you're in. It's a big application process to get there. So.
And you were already prior working at L3?
Yeah, I'd been there several years at that point.
You're still working there?
Yeah, about 12 years 12 years.
Were they like encouraging you to go to the Wharton School, L3 was?
I saw another person that was rising when I was rising go to Harvard, and so I heard and jumped on and made my case to go to Wharton. Yeah.
Do they have, for their accounting department, do they have it broken out by specific, like costing and?
Oh, yeah.
Different?
There's about 300 people in the accounting department, the finance department, and it's got everything you can think of.
So what was the biggest struggle of maintaining a full-time, like very full-time job that you would take on with you and then additionally be pursuing like that level of school? Did you feel like you literally had no time, or
No,
how'd that work?
I just think it's time management.
Okay.
You spend just enough time. I mean, right now, like I said, I work out about 13 hours a week, full-time job, 4 kids, wife, dog that I really like. And I'm president of the Salt Lake Tri Club, which takes up a lot of my time, and I coach 9 athletes that are training for Ironman. So it's just what you want to do with your day. You know, you can watch YouTube, you can watch TV and videos, and yeah.
How did you get your wife to agree with the amount of time you spent there? Because I'm being honest.
No,
I'm married, like,
that's a great question.
I love her to death, but she just wants me to move all the time of the day.
Yeah, I'm not a marriage counselor, okay? But you need to find something for you, and she needs to find something for her. Okay, my wife just graduated from that building, and she just got her yoga instructor certificate. And I got her to do her first triathlon last year. Okay, so that was some stuff we could do together, but there has to be something that you need to do by yourself that fulfills yourself, that doesn't require anyone else. And you need a little bit of time to yourself, in my opinion. Okay, give her time to herself. I mean, but there has to be some time where you've got your own, whether it's meditation, whether it's working out, that kind of thing. And I tell every athlete before you start a triathlon or work or anything, let them know the expectations, right? By the way, I'm gonna be working out this many hours a week. I'm gonna not be all there for the next 12 weeks straight. 2 weeks into the race, I'm gonna forget everybody's name, including my kid's name, right? Because I'm that close. Just let everyone know the expectations. Then when you're done with that time frame, then you do all the stuff with the kids. I'm taking the kids to Disneyland on my next Ironman. Gonna go to Disneyland for 3 days, then hit the race. So I make all these destination places for the family too. So, yeah.
So you did finance and CS, right? Computer science?
Yeah, I was a Microsoft Network System Engineer, web developer, all that kind of stuff.
So what in specific, because that is the exact degree I'm going for.
Yeah.
What in specific do you do for your job?
Oh, I don't use that anymore. I didn't want to work 24 hours a day, and I didn't want to watch servers at like 3 a.m. So in finance, I know exactly when I need to be there and when I can be gone. It was just a little different schedule that I wanted to be on. But that's helped with a lot of the computer stuff that you work with in finance. I hired a computer science major in my pricing department because that guy's just a wizard at stats and systems and all that kind of stuff. It was awesome.
That's exactly what I'm going to school for, is like algorithm-based trading.
Yeah. So those kind of people rock. So these stuff's computers now, right? So if you know that stuff, you're good. Just wanted to throw that out there. And again, thanks to everyone for coming, and thank you, Whitney.
Thank you.